Hey, what's up, people? This is Ike Love. I'm creating and author of the blog, The Viable Alternative, which is an inspirational blog where I share the wisdom insights shared along my path of becoming a greater, stronger version of myself. And if you want to read more about my experiences, you can click under the link, under the description, under the window. There's a link to www.theviablealternative.com. Anyway, today I want to talk to those of you who are going through some type of stressful situation. Maybe you have a sick family member or a sick loved one. Maybe you're sick yourself. Maybe you have someone who's dying that you know. Maybe you're going through some difficult financial situation. Maybe you've been through some type of difficult breakup or going through a breakup. Maybe you are going through something at your job or that you're getting evicted by your landlord. You're going through some type of harrowing situation and it has you full of stress and worry, and it basically occupies your mind. Now, I can tell you these warm, lovely, wonderful quotes about not to worry, like this quote here of like, life is too short to worry about anything. You'd better enjoy it because the next day promises nothing. I mean, yeah, warm and fuzzy, but the fact is you're stressed out, you're worrying, and frankly speaking, these quotes do absolutely nothing for you. They should, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, let's just be real. They're nice and warm and fuzzy, but stuff is going on in your life, and these quotes don't change that. Well, I want to offer you some practical advice on how to go through a situation like this. Number one, during times like this, you're having a lot of different crazy thoughts that are being produced by the emotion of resentment. For instance, now, maybe you're angry. And again, these are thoughts. Now, if you're a rational thinking person, you're like, you shouldn't be thinking these thoughts. I'm not saying that it's just these thoughts that just normally you won't think. But you could be, for instance, now angry at your loved one for being sick. You could be resentful for them. You shouldn't be thinking that thought, but you are thinking it, that you're angry at they're sick. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, oh, how can this person, take up my time, or all these thoughts that just bubble up that you feel should be thinking. Or if you're going through a breakup, you have such resentment, you want to go and stalk or even um, commit harm onto your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. Or if you are going through a financial situation, maybe you're thinking about stealing, or you're full of jealousy of a friend of yours who is doing better off than you. Or if you are sick, you're maybe thinking of killing yourself. I mean, really seriously, these thoughts that are coming up now, or you may be jealous of a healthy person and you hate that person. And these are thoughts that you normally don't think, but due to the situation now, emotions are triggered and you're thinking these thoughts. But what happens when you think these thoughts now? You're like, yo, you're crazy for thinking these thoughts and you feel guilty for thinking of them. So the first impulse that people do is they try to suppress the feeling of resentment that's producing these thoughts. And I will say that's the completely wrong way and the wrong thing to do when you're handling an emotion like that. I mean, okay, yeah, you're rational. These thoughts aren't right to be thinking, but at the same time, I say that you need to let them express themselves and not express yourself in a way where you go to the hospital bed where you have a sick family member, loved one, and curse them out for being sick and ruining your life and call them a selfish bastard. No, that's when you let your emotions take care over you, and that's not what we want. Or you if you you actually go and try to poison your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend because you're angry and resentful towards them. That's not the way you deal with an emotion like resentment. The other way, wrong thing to do is to suppress it because you feel guilty about it. Because remember, and I'm just giving you a brief lesson about emotions. Emotions are actual real things. They're energy. And when we feel them in our body, they're meant to be expressed. They're meant to be given some type of outlet, but obviously a healthy outlet. And when you don't give it that outlet, emotions seek to suppress to express themselves. So when you don't give it that outlet and you just try to, now what we usually do, we try to tighten our muscles and we suppress it deep inside ourselves so we don't have to feel it. But the emotions, because they seek to express themselves, it becomes like a pressure cooker. And sooner or later, you're going to have some type of outburst, whether it's an emotional outburst down the line where you may wind up actually going to commit harm to your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, or you go to the hospital bed and curse that person out. You have that type of outburst, kind of like when people go postal. They suppress things so long that they just explode. Or also when you suppress An emotion, because it's energy and it's in our bodies, and what happens in our bodies that we have different systems that communicate with one another through protein molecules called neuropeptides. But when you have this ball of energy inside of us, it blocks the effective communication between these systems. And when systems in our bodies can't communicate properly, that gives a fertile breeding ground for disease and imbalance and body ailments. So when you're feeling these emotional resentments and producing these crazy thoughts, you want to get something like a journal and just completely write every single crazy thought out. Even the ones that, the ones that you're ugly thoughts that you're guilty, you don't feel like thinking, get a journal and write them all out. Or even if you want to get in a room and just talk these things out, but you want to get these things out of you. And that's how you get lighter, and that's how you clear your head, and again, you diminish the stress, because these things like this produce stress. The next thing you want to do is to have someone to talk to. Yes. There are many cases of people. In fact, I heard a podcast of a guy whose father committed suicide, and everybody was shocked as the father was successful. He put on a happy face, and people didn't expect this guy to be someone who would kill himself. But the fact of the matter is that the guy bottled up a lot of stuff inside of him, and till one day he felt he couldn't take it anymore, and he offed himself. So it's very important to get someone that you trust and can confide in. I don't care if it's your butcher or your barber or the guy, or excuse me, the woman who does your nails or your hair, or a very close friend or family member, but have someone to talk to who's a listening, patient ear, and talk to them about what you're going through. And that's a perfect way to just let things out of you, work things out, let things out, so things don't build up inside of you and that you become you just build up a storehouse of emotions. And again, it produces stress, and stress kills. And I'll get to that a little later. The next thing now, when you're going through stuff like, the harrowing or stressful situation, especially if you see a loved one or family member sick, or even if you're going through some type of breakup or you're sick, you have a lot of sorrow and sadness inside of you. And sometimes, a lot of times you're going to have the urge to cry. You're going to feel like crying. And then there's some dudes out there be like, yo, man, ain't no bitch, man, ain't gonna cry like no bitch. And, you're an idiot. So shut the hell up. That's just the stupidest thing to say, to hold an emotion inside of you and not express it. And in fact, you're doing yourself harm when you, like I said, when you hold emotion inside of you. People think that it's weak to cry, but I think it's weak not to cry. And when you don't cry, it weakens you, because think about it now. When you hold back tears, you tighten your muscles. Guess what it takes to tighten your muscles? It takes strength. It takes a certain amount of units of strength to hold back something. So now, if you have other things you want to do in life which requires strength, guess who's a little weaker? Who can't do that thing as effectively as he could have, because he's using part of his strength to hold on to emotion. So what you want to do is you want to set some time out for yourself, and crawl up on the ball if you need to, turn out the lights, and friggin' cry. Cry for a minute, cry for 5 minutes, for 20 minutes, for a half hour, for an hour, for 2 hours, whatever it takes to let that emotion out. Let it out. You will be a lot lighter for it. Your head will be clearer, and you'll actually may even see the situation different. But what I'll tell you not to do, though, again, you have to use discretion. You want to cry at the appropriate time. You do not want to go out on your date. Maybe you have a first date with a woman or a guy, and you start crying on the first date. The date is going to think you're psycho, and rightfully so, will probably run the other direction, because they'll be like, yo, this guy's a lot of baggage. This woman has a lot of baggage, and they're crying to me on the first date. I don't feel comfortable with this, And yeah, who wants, they're supposed to be happy. Who wants someone crying in front of them on the first date? Or, you cry and someone just bursts out the tears in the job, And if I saw someone doing that, I kind of feel a little bit weird, There's a time and place for it. But use your discretion, You're not supposed to let emotions control you. You're supposed to allow them an outlet for them to express themselves. So, find some time by yourself and cry. Like I said, it's very healing and very therapeutic, especially in a time like this, what you're going through when you don't want to build stress. Now, what's the third thing I said? Oh my gosh, I hate when I do this. The third thing also is, I think it's the last thing, I hope it is, but get into some type of yoga, deep tissue massage, and meditation. And I'll tell you why each of these things work. Yoga, with all its different poses, it actually gets you in touch with emotions that are buried deep inside your body. Each different pose will hit a different point of your body, which has a certain emotion that's buried within. And during that pose, we'll let it out because you're stressing your muscles. You're stressing yourself. And so you will definitely reach that emotion, let it out. Many times when I'm in yoga, I start to laugh like hell because I'm releasing muscle tension. And muscle tension, and it comes out as laughter. Other times when I do certain poses, I feel a lot of anger. I feel like I want to punch through a wall. But the good thing is now I'm releasing the anger out of my body. Other times I feel like crying, I feel sorrowful, like sobbing sometimes. And it's all therapeutic. A deep tissue massage works because, like I said, there are emotions buried deep within our body. And when you get a professional masseuse to come and massage them, you're basically dislodging the emotions from your body so that you can be more free and lighter. Because when we have emotions stored in different parts of the body, like, our lower back, because when we have a lot of resentment, I'll say it gets held in our lower back and we have a chronic lower back pain. But so emotions in different parts of the body produce different types of ailments and chronic diseases, like muscle soreness and so on and so forth. So deep tissue massage helps to alleviate that. I also know that we hold a lot of sorrow in our stomachs, and again, massaging that area will help release the sorrow. And meditation, again, when you're breathing deeply, gets you out of your head into your body and gets in touch with your emotion, helps you embody yourself so you be more connected to who you are and your emotions, and you're not like blindly controlled by emotion. You're more in touch with them, and you can release them in a conscious way rather than them control you. Other techniques I know that help you embody yourself, there's something called Rolfing, and oh my gosh, what's the other one? I should know because I dated a girl who did this. Rolfing, and there's another one called KMI. And these are also structural, like deep tissue, like muscle alignment and massage that, again, help you dislodge emotions so that they can get them out of your body. Let me tell you something when you are when you tighten your muscles so you don't experience emotion, because what happens is like when we don't want to feel an emotion, we tighten ourselves up. What happens is when we have these this postures and everything, it starts to affect the alignment of our spine. Our spine is important because the spine, all the nerves from our different systems of the body connect to the spine, which connects to the brain, and the brain, which is a mother ship of our whole body, is able to to communicate properly. The brain is able to properly regulate the organs and so on and so forth. When you have all this muscle tightness that we have, it connects it affects the alignment of the spine to our different parts of our bodies, and thus affects the way the spine is aligned to, or the alignment of the spine to our different body systems, which again affects the communication of the brain. And because the brain is not able to communicate properly to our different systems, it causes eventually disease, even cancer, because our body becomes out of balance and alignment, and our brain cannot properly have that communication to properly rebalance them. So it's very important that and network chiropractic also deals with this stuff too. But it's very important that another reason why you don't want to hold emotions in your body, but we all do to a certain extent. That's why we all need some type of these things to help us have proper integration in our bodies. So why you want to deal with all this, because I was saying earlier, stress kills. To briefly explain before I get out of here, I have a friend of mine. Back in 2010, I remember a picture of him with another friend of ours at him and his wife's baby shower for their first and only born child. I remember the picture. My friend had his beard was fully black. He had the sideburns and full beard and mustache, and it was fully black. 3 years later, when the guy's in the middle of a divorce and a vicious custody battle, I swear to you, 3/4 of his beard were gray. Why? Because of the stress he had during the marriage. And in fact, I remember, I'm a spiritual person. I remember having several dreams of him and warning him, dreams warning me to warn him to go to the doctor to get checked out because I was hearing that his blood pressure was dangerously high. So he didn't properly manage the stress, and the stress aged him and was probably on the way to eventually make him very sick or put him in a hospital. Thank goodness he got out of the situation he did, and he's back to normal. But his beard is definitely gray. In a matter of 3 years, my goodness. So yeah, stress kills, and these techniques will help you properly manage the stress that's going on, so that you can see the situation clearer, you can be healthier, and so that when the situation eventually resolves itself, you're not older and more weak and more diseased or more withered because of the situation. Because when people go to situation, after they come out, you can tell they've been through something because they look older and more aged. You don't want to have that happen to you. So heed these techniques. I hope they help. And if you like this video, please click on subscribe and like the video, obviously. And to read more on my site, go to www.theviablealternative.com. Anyway, love you all. Talk to you soon. Take care. God bless. And peace.